Hello everyone, this is Associate Professor Zhiqiang Dong from Southeast University in Nanjing, China. I'm glad to have the opportunity to make this presentation. Today, my presentation title is The Application of Welded Plastic Tubes in Civil Engineering, and there are 4 parts that I want to explain. The first part is the mechanical properties of HDPE and CPVC tubes, which determines their different welding technicals and the application in civil engineering. HDPE tubes that exhibit excellent erosion resistance and high ductility are widely utilized in water delivery and irrigation systems. Meanwhile, it can be melted at a relatively high temperature due to their thermoplasticity. Due to these properties, they can be potentially used to strengthen structural columns in civil engineering. Figure 1 shows the products of HDPE tubes, and Figure 2 shows their good ductility that are carried out by the tensor test in the lab. CPVC tubes are widely used for cable protection and exhibit high strength, lightweight, and excellent corrosion resistance properties. Due to these properties, CPVC tubes were selected as a framework to prepare and strengthen the specimens in this study. Similarly, Figure 1 shows the product of CPVC tubes, and Figure 2 shows the failure mode of them, which demonstrates a bridge failure mode. According to their mechanical properties, different welding processes are designed and explained in the second part. The fabrication of HDPE tubes mainly consists of 3 steps. First, a chainsaw is used to cut HDPE tubes vertically into 2 semicircles. Second, these 2 semicircles are evenly placed around the inner corner to maintain a constant distance between the HDPE tube and the inner columns. The last step is welding equipment is utilized to weld the disselected part of the semicircles. The test results showed that a fusing loss of the HDPE tubes occurred during the welding process due to its thermoplastic properties, and the specific fusing loss amount was approximately 2 mm after measurements. Consequently, the diameter of the HDPE tube shows a slight reduction. Figure 1 and Figure 2 shows the schematic diagram of welding process and the welding equipment. It can be seen that 2 semicircles are fixed by the device to ensure they can be aligned. Then the heating plate is pushed inward for the preparation of welding. Consequently, the extrusion device is activated to push the dissected parts to the heating plate, and the heating temperature should be around 276 degrees for 2 to 3 minutes. Finally, the heating plate is extracted and the extrusion device is utilized to sequence the welded part. Figure 3 shows the welded tube. Notably, the welding parts of almost all HDPE tubes were not ruptured in the test, which means that the welding technical applied in this study ensures that their mechanical properties are similar to those of the parent materials. Due to the high strength and brittleness of CPVC tubes, they can easily be split into 2 semicircles without any deformation. The fabrication of CPVC tubes mainly consisted of 3 steps. The CPVC tubes were laterally cut into equal parts. followed by vertically splitting from the center of the cycle. A strong adhesive was chosen from the 3 kinds of strong glues available in the local market. Each of the 2 separated semicycle CPVC tubes were evenly jointed together around the core columns and fixed by loops of metal strips. After the adhesive is cured, loops of metal strips are installed. Fig 1 and Fig 2 separately show the relative jointing process on the bonded CPVC tubes. The bonding joint exhibits almost the same properties as CPVC tube through an actual falling test. Based on the welding processes, they can be applied in strengthening columns. For HDPE tubes, as shown in Figure 1, this new form comprises the HDPE tube as a permanent protective shell. A basalt fiber reinforced polymer wrapped around the HDPE tube and interfered rubber concrete between the existing columns and the HDPE tube. According to the technical characteristics of thermoplastic HDPE tubes that can be hot welded on site, HDPE tubes are vertically split into 2 parts and welded up around the column. This is for the strengthening of existing concrete piles and columns with PFRP wrapped outside HDPE tubes with interfered rubber concrete. The application process is: first, the surface of all specimens were selected by an electric drawer. The second, different contents of rubber concrete were prepared to fill the gap between the HDPE tube and the inner column. Third, the HDPE tubes are fabricated around the existing column. Fourth, BFRP sheets were externally wounded to HDPE tubes by using the wet layup technique. CPVC tubes are split vertically into 2 parts and glued around the columns as permanent protective shells, improving durability and ductility. In addition, CPVC strips as circumferential confinement to increase strength were wrapped around the CPVC tubes at a certain spacing, and the ECC is poured into the CPVC half tubes. The CPVC tubes acts as a cladding layer to enhance the impact resistance. Detailed operation procedures are shown in Fig 1. This hybrid strengthening system that is expected to take all advantages of those materials is now first proposed in the literature for repairing existing concrete columns in terms of strength, ductility, durability, and impact resistance. As shown in Figure 1, the application process of CPVC tube in strengthening columns. The first is enclosing the columns with external CPVC tubes. The second, pulling ECC into the cape between that of the CPVC tubes and the concrete columns. The third, wrapping the CFRP on the outside of the CPVC tubes. Based on the above explanation, the welding technique is meaningful for strengthening columns in the actual engineering. The new composite form, whose application employs the welding process as the main part, comprehensively improves the concrete columns in terms of durability, ductility, strength, and impact resistance. It aims at providing a new strengthening method for existing bridge piles and structure columns in harsh environment. According to the achievements, 2 research papers have been written and submitted to the SCI journals, comprising a JCI Q1 journal and a JCI Q2 journal. One paper has been published as a corresponding author, and the other one is under review. Thank you very much for the listening. If you have any questions, please contact me, and I am willing to address your queries.